Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. The Chennai Super Kings have won their fifth match of this season by 32 runs. Let's get into this review video. Starting off with their playing 11s. I had a difference in opinion as to what the 11 should be, but I knew they would go with an unchanged team when they did so. I had two changes, one being a positional change, another one being a personnel change. The positional change being, Stuart Brevis scored 41 today, but did we see a uniform flow throughout his innings? We didn't. At the start, I think it was 14 of 13, and then it got a bit better, but I'd say holistically, he would have fared better but on the slower services such as Chennai and Lucknow. I've said this before. Only then I would open with Stuart Brevis. I don't think they would do that, but I feel he's someone who plays on the rise, and I feel in the power play where you've got to make use of a harder ball, and in some conditions you've got to get at least 55 in the power play, such as Chennai and Lucknow. I feel would much rather, I think he'd go better if he continues his flow from the power play. Then you saw Sunil Narayan, how well he bowled today. Stuart Brevis walking on the middle order in today's match, in this kind of situation, in these conditions, I wouldn't say it'd be the best place for him to succeed. So only in slow conditions, Stuart Brevis to open, Rutraj Gaikwad number 3. Ayush Matre will play aggressively no matter when he walks out to bat, so he can play number 4 only in these slow conditions. And when you go to more truer venues such as Mumbai and Bangalore, then you can, well, they've already been to Bangalore. If you go to Mumbai, then you can look to play the combination that the order that you're playing now. And then a personnel change. Anshul Kamboj bowled well today, and he also bowled well the previous match. But I feel Akil Hussain is someone who mostly bowls in the power play. Noor Ahmed is the only offensive spin threat outside the power play. And I thought as an assurance policy they could bring in Shreyas Gopal, but Anshul Kamboj is bowled well, so I won't say much on that. That was for CSK. And for KKR, I posted a short a month back before the start of this season, and I'd said Cameron Green wasn't going to be in my 11, and he's not been in form, whether playing for Australia, he's not been in form in the last while. I'd said if he bowls 2 overs, he'd go for 25. He went for 30 today. Had Tim Seifert batted at number 3, Rahane to open, it would have been better for them. Rahane is someone who's more of a pace hitter. I'd said this in the short that I posted a month ago, where he's someone who is a pace hitter. Him batting number 3, especially in the slower conditions such as Chennai, I don't think it'd go well for him. And you saw today he didn't create that impact. So I feel Rahane opening, Phil Allen 3, Rahane opening with Finn Allen, and then Tim Seifert number 3 would have been better for today. And Karthik Tyagi bowled well today. I thought because of the previous match they could have brought in Saurabh Dubey as the impact sub, but they didn't do that. And Varun Chakravarti was brought back in today. And KK, I think the reason why they chose to bowl first is because they saw what happened in the previous matches when they were bowling. They conceded runs, and that's why they thought would chase down whatever CSK score. But this batting, as you've seen today, also isn't strong. So I feel the reason why they chose to bowl first was because they were fearful of what their bowling would do. And now the CSK batting effort in the power play, 72 for 2. There's some scrutiny around Rutraj Gaikwad. According to me, I would not criticize him because, yes, he hasn't got the big scores in these 5 matches. You saw in the previous match, 61 without loss in the power play. At the start, both Rutraj and Sanju Samson are being dismissed early. But in these 2 matches, Sanju Samson is taking on the ball, and Rutraj Gaikwad is playing second fiddle, meaning CSK aren't losing many wickets in the power play. And apart from Rutraj Gaikwad, no one else is going to be a slow starter in this team. And that's why I feel everyone can't be going aggressively. One player has got to be someone who he can, after taking a bit of time at the start, he can then continue to accelerate. And Rutraj Gaikwad is that kind of a player. So I feel with everyone else doing what they do around him, there is a place for him to play that way. Only when playing in Chennai, Lucknow, those kind of venues, I'd say this is not because of his performance, because of Stuart Brevis to maximize his output. Brevis to open, Rutraj 3, Ayush Matre 4 only on the slower conditions. In one stage, 111 for 3. They sent out Sarfraz Khan ahead of Shivam Dubey. I would have sent out Shivam Dubey. It was in that partnership where the spinners started getting some confidence when they were bowling, where it was Sunil Narayan, Varun Chakravarti, and Anukul Roy, the partnership between Sarfraz Khan and Stuart Brevis. And we've seen Sarfraz Khan all throughout his IPL career when he's played. He's relied on scoring or getting boundary options behind square or behind the stumps past fine leg or third man. And he tried that today even off the spinners and it didn't work. He scored 23 off 18. I think he should look to improve his in front of square hitting. The power hitting that some of the others have got. He looks to get runs in different ways, but he's not got as much of a down the ground power hitting as others. I think he's got to improve that. Yes, he hit a couple of sixes today, but I felt there wasn't a flow to his innings because of the method in which he looks to score his runs. When he's not got the pace to work with, it doesn't go well. So I think that's what he should improve on. I would have sent out Shivam Dube ahead of him today. And some people may have been fearing 192. Would they defend it? I think the reason why we've seen 220s this season is because the bowling has been terrible. It's been fearful. But I knew CSK when they get 192 and KKR, I didn't think they would chase this down, and I'm not surprised they didn't. I'm not surprised they fell short by the amount that they did. So I had a lot of confidence CSK would defend the score. And now on the KKR bowling, where at the start, Veerara went for runs in his first 2 overs, and then you got Cameron Green, none for 30 in his two. Apart from that, I thought the rest bowled well. And Varun Chakravarti, we've seen when he's in bowling to the left-handed, he's usually bowled around the wicket and he's gone for a lot of runs in the over that he bowls. However, I was surprised in this case, and it shows how much his confidence may have taken a hit, where he's bowling to right-handers who are not getting the better of him. And he's bowling from around the wicket from early on. And I think it was a defensive approach. They needed him to be an offensive option. Narayan bowled very well. They needed Chakravarti to also emulate that performance. He didn't, in terms of the figures, none for 26 and 3 when 192 is not that bad. But I feel he could have been an offensive option if he had bowled over the wicket. He was defensive from earlier on, and it shows how much his confidence would have taken a hit. Or has taken a hit. Kartik Tyagi bowled well today. Anukul Roy had not been bowling for him 4 overs no matter for any match, but he bowled well today. And the one partnership or the 1 over that I thought made that partnership look better was the spinners are bowling well, they're stifling them. And you're bringing on Veerara for his 3rd over at that point in time. I think he went for a couple of sixes, and I didn't understand that move at all. Anukul Roy has not bowled a 4th over. Surely Veerara going 55 and 4. I think he bowled an okay last over, but for the 3 overs beforehand, the 3rd over that he bowled, surely Anukul Roy could have bowled that, and I don't know why they didn't bowl him that. And now KKR's batting, where Sunil Narine 24 off 17, and for any other player you'd say for more orthodox batsmen, someone who bats at the opening spot more often than not, or is an opener, you would say that is an okay performance. However, Sunil Narine, there is an incentive for him that he'd have an impact or a match-winning impact to break the game. It expects a minimum kind of 80 or 40 balls if he played a long innings. And if he does play that 40 ball knock, he'd expect to take the flow from the power play. Now, 24 of 17, Tim Seifert would have scored that. You compare those two, where if Tim Seifert is 24 of 17, he's got a range of shots to continue after the power play, and you have greater assurance. If Sunil Narine scores a scratchy 24 of 17 in the power play phase, what is the guarantee with the range of shots that he has? What is the guarantee that he's going to emulate that kind of performance where he's not got the desired flow in the power play? I don't think it looks like he would do that. So in that case, rather than sending him out, he's already got a finger injury, so I didn't think he would open. So Rahane is a pace hitter. He's someone who would benefit from taking the flow from the power play. Rahane to open. Tim Seifert, number 3, and Ankush Raghuvanshi at 4 is the correct combination today. I wouldn't have played Cameron Green, and especially when they've sent him out at number 6 on a surface like Chennai, I thought it was ridiculous, and he would dismiss the first ball. And I've said this before, but he's been playing for Australia. We've seen that he's not been bowling much, and he's not been scoring runs. So you've got the option of Tim Seifert has been playing very well. For what reason are they playing Cameron Green? Is it for the price tag? Well, you're almost out of the tournament now. Even the one match that was rained off, I think they were going to lose that with the way they started. So I think now they have got to make the correct decision. That decision is dropping Cameron Green, bringing in Tim Seifert. And Rovman Powell, I said he should play. I'm very surprised that he was unbeaten on 31 of 22 deliveries in this kind of situation. He has struggled against wrist spin, yes, but I still thought at 22 deliveries that he faces on a slightly more truer Chennai wicket than usual, although there was a bit of hold today. I feel that I expected him to do a bit better. He didn't do that. I'm not saying he shouldn't be in the team. I thought I expected better in that situation. But I feel for KKR, the only time, I think they should strengthen their batting more than their bowling, but I feel the only time they can look to play an overseas seamer is if I've heard rumors that Matisha Patirana may be back soon. And if he is back, then they can think about playing him. If not, I feel they've got to play Finn Allen, Sunil Narayan, Tim Seifert, and Rovman Pao. I don't think they can strengthen this bowling. And with the bowling they have got, if they give Anukul Rai 4 overs, you've got the three spinners. Kartik Tyagi, he bowled well today. Can you sort of foster him to emulate these performances consistently? Arora is a good swing bowler, but he's been bowling fearfully this tournament. You can't strengthen the bowling more than that, but you've got out of the bowlers who are bowling well, the three spinners, if you make sure Varun Chakravarti bowls from over the wicket and you bowl Anikul Roy for 4 overs, then you can look to limit the damage somewhat with your spin. But if you don't play the correct combination and don't play the correct batting lineup, then you are not going to succeed. They've already lost 4 matches now, so they've got to improve from here. And for CSK, I thought the bowling was good from them today. Gurjatmeet Singh bowled well the previous match. He went for runs today. I don't think it's much of a problem. And Jamie Everton is someone who usually does go for runs, but I feel in the previous match on a true surface where he bowled in the middle overs, you saw it did pay off. In this case, he went for runs, but I don't think he's someone who you expect to bowl well consistently. So I'm not so surprised he was going to go for runs at some point in time. A very big positive for CSK is that Noor Ahmed 3 for 21 and 4, where on this kind of a surface he delivered. And I think that a lot of people have been saying Chennai is a surface that hasn't been offering as much spin assistance as before. But you see Narayan how well he bowled today, Anikul Roy how well he bowled today. Even when Varun was bowling defensively, only went for 26 and 3, given the score 192, and Noor Ahmed how well he bowled Akil Hussain, so there is spin assistance. So I think CSK, well done to them. They've won 2 matches, and for KKR, they've got to improve, and they've not got too long to do so. Let's see what happens. If you enjoy this video, friends, subscribe, share, friends. This is my opinion. What's yours?